and I've uprooted myself for this review of Uprooted by Naomi Novik, published in 2015. This is very much fantasy meets fairy tale, so it's very reminiscent of these old classic fairy tale stories that you might have had read to you as a child, or perhaps even the classic fairy tale movies, Disney in particular, things like Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, those sorts of movies. It does really bring those to mind. And so it's quite an interesting read for me, seeing these mix of genres, because it's not really something I have read before, so I did enjoy it very much. What's this book about? Well, it's about being uprooted, sticking to your roots, and basically there's this village, and you're introduced to a main character, Agnieszka, who's, a bit rough. She enjoys sort of climbing, getting into a bit of a mess, getting into trouble. She's, a bit average for all intents and purposes. And you've also got her best friend, Cassia. And Cassia is sort of this beautiful, pretty, intelligent lady. And once every 10 years, a wizard descends from the tower to the villagers, and he picks out one lady to take back to his tower to sort of hold captive for a decade before releasing them. And when he releases them, he hands them a lot of money, which is always good, but they also come out changed. They sort of prefer isolation, and they're a bit, well, not shifty, but there's sort of this intangible difference to them. So they end up just living on their own, going to university or some other place to sort of live a solitary life. So it's not a very exciting prospect. And of course the dragon descends on the village in this particular year when the novel starts, and the book's sort of leading you to believe that, will Cassie get picked? Well, no, of course she's not. If you've read the blurb anyway, you'll understand that Agnieszka gets picked. And so we sort of read her life, her trials and tribulations after being held captive against her will, especially when everybody expected Cassia to be the one to be picked. So Agnieszka's unprepared for this sort of shift. And of course it's hard on Cassia too, because she was living all her life preparing for this solitary confinement. So it does focus on them too, and their relationship a lot. And the book sort of goes on from there really. So what are the good points, what are the negative points about this book? Well, first of all, I should point out that this book seems to have had a very mixed reaction. So there's quite a few 5 stars, 4 stars, but equally there's quite a few 1 stars and 2 stars. And I think it depends on what you want to get out of this book, and if the negative aspects do grate on you a lot, then I don't think you'll like this book. So the best bit of advice before picking it up is do read reviews, see whether it would be something you'd be interested in, because those who do like it seem to love it and adore it, so it's well worth reading in that case. But if elements sort of don't appeal to you, then you'll probably want to give this a miss, because you don't want to be wasting £8 on something that you're not going to enjoy. So caveat emptor, I guess, just be wary. But there is a lot to like about this book in my opinion, and I didn't go in with any expectations, so I wasn't underwhelmed by it, which is another sort of complaint I had that I'd read. But anyway, what are the positive aspects? Let's talk positive. So the main character, she's very active, very proactive. She sort of disobeyed the dragon. She went out and escaped from the tower, but all of her actions were justified. She wasn't just acting willy-nilly. She wasn't being idiotic for its own sake. She was genuinely prepared to take the risk to help a friend, to help a village, you know, to help a family that she saw was, she saw disaster striking, so she sort of goes out and attempts to subvert the disaster. So really liked that, how she, you know, disobeyed the dragon against, you know, as a reader you're sort of thinking, just hang about, just do what the dragon says, it will all be alright. But then you can sort of see from her point of view that, you know, she's got ties to the village, she still has friendships and relations there, so she doesn't want to lose them. So that is interesting. I liked the threat of the wood. I didn't really explain that in the plot synopsis, but you know, the wood is this ever-present threat that's sort of growing constantly, and it's encroaching on villages and encompassing the valley. And this wood, this forest, is sort of enchanted, and it corrupts people. It sort of ruins villages. So you know, it's this sort of ever-present threat that people are trying to keep away. And you know, that is a very real danger when the characters were exploring this forest for various reasons. It did feel this, you know, sense of threat or sense of danger that's constantly there. So that was interesting. Another thing I liked about it, this is probably me reading a bit deep into it, but you know, so you might not get out of this what I did, but I like the focus on individual autonomy and individual dignity. You know, every life has worth, and every life has meaning to it. I think Agnieszka sort of encompassed and demonstrated this philosophy best. You know, when she escaped, it wasn't that she was escaping just to be a nuisance. She weighed up that the individual's life was in danger, and she felt that danger and threat to the individual was worse than, you know, her own situation. Whereas many other characters, or you know, the political system within the book, is sort of shooting and aiming for this utilitarian approach. There's this great scene when the trial's about to take place, and you know, these characters are going to be executed because they might be corrupted, and you know, Agnieszka's sort of protesting this. You know, how can you execute somebody just because they might be corrupted? So it's a nice sense of due process for the law, I think, and it did argue well for the dignity and meaning of the individual, which I enjoyed. What points are there to dislike about this book? Well, you know, the dragon at first, he sort of just comes across as a bit abrasive, a bit rude. He's sort of, you know, just this personality with no sort of backstory behind it at first. And it does eventually calm down when you sort of see behind the facade. But you know, it can be a bit off-putting for the first third or so of the book, just hearing this, you know, guy acting a bit of an imbecile, a bit irrational, just for the sake of it. And I have read that some people were put off by it. The magic system in the book, you know, I did like how some characters had to be perfect and systematic with the approach to magic, whereas other characters, you know, could sort of go with the flow. But I felt that the system was a bit too abstract for me, so you know, I was never really invested in the system. I never really knew what threat or dangers lay beyond the magic, and you know, it just felt a bit Deus Ex Machina, I guess, because I didn't really understand the rules behind the magic. But you know, some people might like it. I guess it's personal, but that's just my thoughts, you know, because the magic, it did leave the character's drained, and it was sort of mentioned if you overuse it, you know, you can sort of suffer, you can sort of perish, but I never really felt it was a danger using the magic. So it just felt a bit underexplored for me, and as I say, a bit abstract. But I think those are the only negative points I could draw from it. I guess at times, you know, the book did sort of read like a fairy tale, Mills and Boons, but you know, it's only for a few short sections, so that's not really my sort of thing. But you know, some people might sort of like that sort of romance side of things. So you know, I guess it's personal, subjective views. Anyway, this was quite an interesting book, as I say, the culmination of the two genres together, made for a unique spin on things. And you know, it's a nice plot, fairly fast-paced, keeping moving. So a good book all in all. Not my favourite, but you know, definitely one to read if you aren't too put off by the negative aspects. So as I say, do read reviews and see whether it'd be a book for you. But otherwise, have a good day. Thank you for watching, and see you later.